Welcome back to Indian Trace. Now, to me, it seems like a long, long time since I've produced a video. And these are not the type of videos that I like to do best. If I can, where I found these out in the field or woodlands or wherever it is, and you're going to see some incredible artifacts. I like to film them out there. We're going to talk about some of this stuff, and this is a big piece here. Look at my hands. Very big tool out of rhyolite. Great example right there. Because these edges, all the edges, if I can get them focused, have been worked right around the outside edge. And as you see, a couple hammerstones here. But to put it all in context, and you're going to see some stuff, just check this out. We're going to get a close look at it. If you have eyes to see, the hammerstones, they're important tools. To me, to be honest with you, they're more important than these tools, which we obviously highlight and seek as much as anything. But then when it comes to importance, everything works as a circle of life. I'm going to get to these last. Look at the wear mark on this hammerstone. It's an interesting piece. Wait till you see it in my hands, because until you get a hammerstone in your hands to understand better how they worked, how the user related with the stone and became a product of the expression of what they needed to use it for, it's hard to imagine. So I'm going to start over here on the left side and just take a look at some of the stuff that I've come across. Look at these pieces as I get a couple things into context. You're looking at rhyolite here, of course. Doesn't come from my area. Comes from about 13 days foot travel one way to the west. Now, in 2018, the year 2018, and I tell my father-in-law, I say, Tony, it is the year 2018. He looks at me and says, you're kidding me. It's fun. But listen, I've decided I'm going to renew, and check this piece out here. It has an impact fracture. I'm going to renew my artifact appreciation when I go through the finding and seeking. It's been a blur of 5 years. So this year I'm going to try to do a couple things different. Look at the impact fracture on that. Move forward. And just do my best to keep things changing. And all of these, a lot of times they're old breaks. This is an old break on this piece of rhyolite, Marl Mountain. Would have been a nice piece. Great artifacts there. But everything you're looking at here, and get it in perspective as I pan out, is respectively 3,000 years old. Not one human being, well, not including me. You were the first human being in 3,000 years, conservatively. Some of this is twice that. I'm going to just say 3,000 years. Do you know you were the first human being to see this in 3,000 years? No other human being. None. I don't count. I'm just the finder. But listen, you're watching this now. No other human beings have seen it. So that's pretty cool. Now, because of the cold, the wind, and the rain, I haven't been able to film these when I found them. Look at these pieces. Great quality. And on these quartz, the way they do this on the backside, it is very smooth and very, as many of you would say, ground. Don't know what that means, whether that's a Yadkin or an eared Yadkin or a Hardaway. Not sure. It's a sweet piece, though. Good find. And just doing these cleanup videos, it's funny, on YouTube, there's been, in terms of the archaeological community here, we who find artifacts, we often go to a cleanup video after a hunt, whether it's mud or rain or just couldn't see them real well. This is a nice piece right here from Site 6 Smoke Alley. All of these were found about the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. There's been many obstacles where I just couldn't film. That was a nice piece right there. Variated materials. Up close and personal, right? appreciate the comments and the compliments of being able to do these. So I'm going to work harder at doing them, because I know that some people out there that are watching these simply cannot hunt anymore, or they don't get the opportunity, or they just don't have a place. So I know that these come in and make a difference in some ways. And I will say that when we go over to these hammerstones, the cleanup videos are pretty much an appreciation video, you know. We do our cleanup videos and we just, in appreciation, share it with the community, because we know they appreciate. We know we appreciate. I go through them. I check out if you post videos, all your videos. It helps me to understand where you're coming from, what kind of heart you have. Look at the banded rhyolite on this scraper. If you saw it wet, it'd be unbelievable. And so in appreciation, I want to try to keep that up this year. There are many artifacts I found the last 2, 3, 4 weeks that are simply brokes. I mean, really. And so they are great materials, and they are in a box that I'm going to put onto the koi pond. Look at this piece. A little bit banged up. The rhyolite original color there. Dark army green. It patinas this lime green almost. And I want to show you something. Look at the color in that. Yeah, I've already watched these, so indeed I licked the rock. You know, no big deal to those of us who collect. But just to give you an idea, I mean, I wish I could get it completely soaked, but it'd mess up this backdrop. That's an incredible scraper. Very different. Very different. But it's the same shape as many of the thumb scrapers. I can see how you get it on there, and you just worked hides, conditioned hides with it. So great piece, why not? What appreciation for that. Hopefully I'm getting a good show of this with the material for you. And so I think things through in 2 to 3 weeks here. These hammerstones here, and when I share this, I have so many hammerstones. Since they're heavy, no way I can just easily give them away. They're ready to go if you want them, but you're going to have to handle the shipping and handling and packaging, and you can strike a deal. You just drop me a note, and I'm telling you, these hammerstones that you see are more than willing to have a place in your home. No big deal to me. They're translucent. A lot of my quartz modules, they've been worked off. Lots of sides. When you hold them in your hand, you know how they were used. Look at this in my hand. But the ends, of course, clearly were used to impact lesser rock, because quartz is way up there on the hardness scale. Lesser rock, rhyolites, varied materials, and just break off pieces like this. Some people might say that's a preform, but I really think that's a scraper. See how it's used. And they continue to use these modules and keep them, especially ones like this. Check this piece out. Love the small hammerstones that are clearly hammerstones. Strong quartz module. Original Cortex right here. Even how it inlays here for a thumb. But check this out. The piece on the outside edge here. There is no biodegradation here. Not in quartz. It is completely, for those of you who are just learning in fine stones, it's completely worn. Completely used. And every time they did, it'd break just a teeny bit of rock off if they were using it with rhyolite or whatever. And you can tell when you hold this how it would just fit in the hand and not move anywhere. There we go. I'm trying to get a good show of it. And if you swing it around, they use the other side too for sure. And when you see the rock, it's completely smooth here, and where the polish is, they held it. But the impact zones definitely, and when you roll it around, you'll find that place. You say, okay, that's exactly how they held it for impact. Your hands are an amazing tool to stabilize things. Those of you who nap and everything know. With the swing in that right there, smooth. Then if I swing it around and just, it locks right in my 3 fingers. Why? Look at the impact zone on this. Used, I mean, they wore that down from 1/2 inch, probably bigger on each end, 1/4 inch bigger on that end, just wore it out. found a good stone for it, and just kept it as a tool. Easy to carry, it's dense. Great stuff if you understand what they really needed to do with these hammerstones. I love them. So I wanted to show you that. Now I do have a ton of hammerstones. You drop me a note if you want to get some. We'll figure out a way to do it. Make it worth everybody's while. And many of you watch Indian Trace out there know that I'm not looking to gain anything. I'm not looking to gain things off you. I'm just looking to make it worth everybody's while. Keep the community going. Last point of view here as we do this cleanup. Some great pottery. Check this pottery off the exact same site over at the Cove. And the interesting thing about this pottery, of course, there's two absolutely smokers. Didn't find a lot of smokers through the last 3-4 weeks, but those two are awesome. This pottery, completely unique to itself. I mean, this piece here is thick as can be. Different pattern, different color than this. All this pottery off the site was tempered with quartz sand, if you will, which is quartz. Different pattern, different color, different clay, different pattern, different color, clay and pattern, which is really wild. They say, and I have to believe it, pottery tells a great deal more about the Indians who were there in terms of that short period of time, maybe 1,000 years, maybe 1,500 years that they were using pottery. It was during a period of time when they also were moving into agriculture more strong from the hunter-gatherer group. Look at this Guilford. Of course, the Guilford drops it way back around 7,000 BC, 6,500 BC. It's a great little piece of Guilford, funny off the same site, because they definitely weren't making this pottery at that time. But they were making some other point types. Fantastic Guilford. Hasn't been seen. The only one who's seen it. You can make it. You're the number 2. You're the number 2 viewer. So I appreciate the support from here all the way to California. People enjoy the channel in different ways. This is an incredible point right here. Found at the origin. Definitely for cold reasons or whatever, I couldn't film a lot of this, or for wind. It's been a tough winter for many people across the country, and I hope everybody's staying warm and handling things. Just fun stuff looking at this. All right, everybody. Just wanted to give you a good view of this. Appreciate you tuning in to Indian Trace. Hope you find out there. And that right there, that's Indian Trace.